This is Susie Walker here from Psychologies magazine, and I am delighted today to be joined by ITV's a wonderful Dr. Hilary Jones, who's been gracing our screens and helping us through lockdown through the last 4 to 5 months. Thank you, Dr. Hilary Jones. You've been really helping us. And today we're here to talk about staycations and why they will help our mental health, make us feel better. I know many of us have just come out of this long period of lockdown. I think for many of the mothers out there, they've just sent their kids back to school today. Hurrah! But then we're thinking, let's have something to look forward to. So I know today, Dr. Jones, that we are going to talk about why are holidays, especially short breaks, why are they good for our mental health? And let's start planning one.
Oh my goodness, yes, let's do that. Well, what we know is that many people feel that by taking a short break, a staycation in this country, just going away for a long weekend, 2 or 3 days, can feel like you've been away for a week. You're out of your normal routine. You know, you leave home where it's focused on work or chores, or for the children, homework, but there's a routine which everybody gets settled into. There's no spontaneity. There's nothing different. So to get away for 2 or 3 days is really good for creativity and for discovery. And just for a short period of time, you can get away from the routine and explore. Be at one with nature. There are so many nice places within reach. You don't have to make huge plans. And what we found, Willerby did a 2,000 people survey, and they asked them about staycations. And, you know, the majority of people said that they would rather have staycations which they could have more regularly and feel that they'd been away for a week each time than plan for that one big holiday a year, which was expensive, not spontaneous, meant a lot of stress, planning with your passport, your visa, your foreign exchange, you know, everything, the stress of traveling. You can get to a staycation quickly. You're there, you can be with the family, and everyone's happy. And, you know, the survey showed that people found that actually it was, you know, preferable in many ways to going away on a long holiday. Half of the people in the survey said that.
I mean, I absolutely agree. I think for many of us this summer, that's exactly what we've been doing, is been trying either staying at home or going for these short breaks for weekends. So many of us been going off camping. I managed to borrow a camper van and try that for the first time. Absolutely amazing, because you, as you say, being in nature, being in close quarters with your family and doing something different. Because I think being locked down, it's, as much as we're lucky to have homes, etc., it's so, you realize that it's so wonderful to have something to look forward to, isn't it, to go away. And it's, I mean, for my mental health, I've just been away for a week in this little camper van. I feel completely rejuvenated coming back. I feel amazing. But let's talk about families, because you're talking about going away with staycation to your families. Now, we've been locked down with our families for the last 6 months. Why is it good to go on holiday with our families and our close ones? And how can we make sure that that's a positive experience? How do we do that?
I think when we looked at the results of the Great British Break Off survey, what people said was they actually preferred to go away with their partner, first of all, and then their children, their family, much more so than going with a group of friends or going on their own. And what they found was they were doing things with their partner or their family that they wouldn't normally be doing at home. So they would be spontaneously planning, if you can have a spontaneous plan, but we wake up in the morning and say, what should we do today? What's the weather doing? Let's go and climb that hill over there. Let's go down to the beach. Why don't we go and explore that restaurant? Let's go for a walk through the forest. And you talk about things that are completely different to what you talk about at home. So look at the shape of that tree. Look at the animals in that field. Look at the farm animals. Let's go fishing. So everything is different. It's a different world, and it's a very natural world that you're usually looking at with a staycation. And the aspects of talking to your children about things you wouldn't normally talk about, you can see how children react to um, certain situations, to animals that you see, to the sounds that you see, the sights that you see. And children come out of their shell, parents connect with the children, children with grandparents, and there's something remarkable about it. That intergenerational aspect is really valuable, I think, for connecting family together again. You're eating together, you're experiencing things together. And when you think about the modern world and people living in cities particularly, you know, life revolves around coming home, eating separately, using your devices, watching different TV programs, and there's no real connection. So nature is a great way of connecting families together.
Sure, and there's something there. I think, I mean, at Psychologies magazine, we're very keen on mindfulness and how to be more present. And I think there's, when you're in a routine and you're doing sort of day-to-day things or every day, you become unconscious about how you just follow the same thing. And being stuck in a staycation, not stuck in, but choosing to go on a staycation, it sort of throws you out and makes you do different things, as you say, have different conversations and be more present.
Yes.
I remember reading some research a while ago that when you go on a short staycation, it actually makes time go slower because your brain's processing it. It takes more time, so time sort of slows down. And when we're just doing everything unconsciously, because it's so routine, time just.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. When people think about members of their family, they often think back to something momentous in their life, and often that involves a nostalgic holiday. It'll be, do you remember when Mum and Dad took us to that wonderful beach, and we caught shrimps in the rock pools? Do you remember we walked on Brecon Beacons, or we went to the lakes in Cumbria? And do you remember those things we did together and how funny it was when Dad did the zip wire and it was panicking? Yeah. And it's very, there's something about a staycation which is very nostalgic. So we remember those magic moments because they were so different to our routine lives. I don't want to call them mundane because they're often quite stressful, but they're so different. That we remember them and they become very precious to us. So the more staycations we have, the more we can increase those experiences.
I remember interviewing Mike Viking, who is the guy who not invented, but the hygge kind of trend that went through the kind of Danish happiness.
Yes, hygge, yeah.
About this idea of memories, about how creating memories are creating these kind of unique experiences as much as we can, not only on staycations but in our everyday lives. But I think on staycations we have a huge opportunity, as you say, to create these new memories, whether it is the zip wire or is it simply a walk on the beach. We just came back from our kind of camper van trip and we were sort of lying on the beach with my son and my friends, and we were watching the stargazing, and that will always be a memory for me. It's like, we were doing something, it's instead of at night sitting down with a television, we were like, okay, let's go stargazing, because the sky was really clear and it was so warm, and it was just brilliant and magical, and you could hear the sea, and it was just wonderful. It was really wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, I've come back from many a staycation and I've said to people, I didn't watch TV once. And they say, well, we don't either when we go away. And somehow it's a freedom. You feel a freedom from the things that you normally do. And that stuff that draws you into a narrow channel of we'll watch the news, we'll watch this program. And actually it's very passive. But when you're on a staycation and you're out with nature, and it is a stone's throw from where we are, from where anybody lives in this country, you can find really lovely places. You're free of all that encumbrance. And I think for some people, it's turning everything off that makes the staycation so much fun.
And what kind of impact does this, I mean, you're a medical doctor, what kind of impact does this have actually on our physical health, in terms of being out in nature, getting away? Will it help our immune system? I mean, at the moment, we're all so focused on how to stay well. What impact will it have on our health?
Well, it'll have an impact on our physical and our mental health. Mentally, people feel happier. They feel their well-being is boosted. The Great British Break Off survey by Willerby showed that people said they feel much happier, much healthier. They do things on holiday that they don't do at home. So they go cycling, they go kayaking, they go fishing, they go trekking, they go through rambles through the forest. And they say, do you know what? I really enjoyed that. Was a long walk we did today, but I really enjoyed it. So they come back more likely to carry on doing those things when they come home. When they're away, they're free from all the trappings of the normal working day and the chores of home. So their blood pressure falls. They're exercising, so their cholesterol level is reduced. Their heart rate, their breathing, you know, they're just their ability to look at the sky, smell the fresh air, the flowers, the grasses. You know, it's all very good for us physically as well as mentally. Plus, psychologically, we're spending more time with the kids, doing things we wouldn't normally do. So I think there is a real health benefit to the staycation.
Yeah, sure. How can we make our staycations, if you were going to plan a staycation and make it literally, so we're all about mental health and positive mental health, and as you've talked through, all of these things will have a positive impact not only on mental health but our physical health. But if we were going to create the ultimate staycation that makes us feel relaxed, and what are the elements that we need to include? You know, it's like if you were going to have a checklist, you know, sure, what would you advise?
A location where you have a lovely view with a horizon. I love to have a horizon. I like to unfocus my eyes. So I'd like to be able to see a panorama. And in that panorama, I'd love to encompass some hills. I'd love to encompass some greenery and some forest and the sea and a beach. And you know, all of those things are quite possible in one location with the kind of locations that Willerby have at their disposal. So for me, it's a combination of all those things. You can see the sky, you can see a distance, hills, forest, beach, sea, beautiful.
I know that there's a lot of research on they call it vitamin C, SEA, and about the benefits of being by the sea. And one of our sister magazines is called Coast Magazine, and it's just, you know, it's all about, I always say life is better by the sea and all of those things, even though I'm supposed to say, you know, with psychology it's all about in here, but you know, being by the sea does have a massive impact on your mental health.
Absolutely. It's coming, the sound of waves, and that's a relentless flow of the water, the waves. They've been there forever. So it's like a connection with the cosmos in a way that nothing's going to change about the sea. And it hasn't for thousands of millions of years. And it's just the surf rolling in, the beach, and the way that the sound of the waves, but also the seagulls. It is just somehow very primeval, if you like. And it's about getting back to nature, and it helps you to forget all the stress that you've left behind at home.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one element, being in nature. Is there anything else we should have on our checklist? So definitely being nature. You talked about activity. I mean, should we always try and book somewhere that there are cycling and, you know what I mean? Or how important is that?
I think if you want to, and because it's such a lovely environment, I think people are tempted to explore. So they might want to just walk. If there are bikes there and you've got kids who are active, you can see more places in a shorter period of time on your bikes. And you're also doing something that is fun. You know, who's in front? You can overtake dad, you can overtake mum. You can take things with you, and you can stop off at different places. You might want to go boating. You might want to take a kayak out. And all that sort of thing. So I think you do what you want to do, not what you feel you should do, whether it's walking or just look. Sometimes just looking. Some people might already be physically exhausted by whatever they do, and they might just want to sit there on the deck outside the holiday home and just take in the view and just take in the fresh air. So but I think most people do exercise more because they want to, and it's they don't even think about it as exercise, for goodness sake. They think of it as an activity and doing something that's fun, and that's the way it should be. But so you've got the scenery, you've got the activity, but you've also got like-minded people. They've done the same thing. So they're not on your doorstep. They're just over there, but you can go and talk to them and share what did you do today? You know, and what's life. Yeah, and share your experiences and maybe team up with them. And I think being in a safe environment with like-minded people is also quite useful. It's quite sociable.
Yeah, I mean, there are three things. I mean, nature, community, connection with your family, all of these things, if you can, you know, if it is a tick list, the things that make, you know, have a massive impact not only on your mental health, but also on your physical health. These are such great tips for us, for you know, going forward. We've got, you know, 3 months before it gets really dark and horrible again, so, you know, let's, you know, make the most of it. What are you doing? You're just coming out of lockdown now. What are your plans going forward? Are we going to see you more on the telly, on This Morning sofa, ITV?
Yeah, I'm so back on Good Morning Britain for the last couple of weeks, and we will continue to try and give a sensible perspective on the current pandemic. The virus is going to be with us for a little while. There's no doubt about that, and we have to manage it carefully, manage the risks carefully. We're seeing what's happening in other countries, and yeah, there's no doubt that unless we're careful, we'll see more cases again. But we're doing quite well at the moment, and we need to keep it that way. But everybody has to play their part. We can't do this alone. It's really important. So we have a good sense of perspective, some good news as much as possible, you know, realistic good news, but with no complacency either. So hopefully I'll still be there most mornings giving advice on that subject. And also I'll try to intersperse some other medical news that is encouraging, that cancer treatments and diagnosis is coming back on stream and getting back to normality, GP appointments picking up again, so that people don't feel isolated and aren't ignoring the kind of problems that they're facing in other respects. There was just one more thing I wanted to say, if I've got time, before, along with those three other tips, is to disconnect when you go away. If you really want to get the best out of your staycation, don't take your computer with you unless you absolutely have to. Don't take your devices with you. You know, if you take your computer with you, you're going to be tempted to log on, and then you're going to get embroiled in, you know, you want to send messages back. Half the day is gone. That's not a staycation. Try and leave as much technology behind as you can. If you want to take your phone for an emergency, fair enough, but only use it for that reason. And then you're disconnecting from the outside world, and you're giving yourself a chance. Otherwise, it would be like standing in a queue waiting to get a signed photograph of George Clooney when he's in the next room waiting to give you a hug. You know, so you know, forget the devices and be at one with nature. This is your best chance.
Sure. I mean, we're all massive fans of digital detoxes. I think, you know, those little those phones that we carry around have a lot to answer for. But the great thing to remind ourselves, as you said, is that we have a choice, you know, and that we can choose to sort of leave them behind. Dr. Hilary Jones, it's been a joy to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
Susie. And you. Thank you.
I will be doing more staycations going forward. But lots of love, and thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.